if things just started going poorly, wouldn't you just start singing if you're Barry White?
Start like humming along to
put your own music on,
No,
and then you start singing.
No, but you're nude and fat though, and
the lights are off.
Have some respect.
Seriously.
It's been 20 years since he passed.
Rest in power.
That's a shameful thing for me sometimes when, like, you guys ever do that where, like, the lights are on and you're like, let me dim these to set the mood. But it's really just...
I mean, that's my entire 40s and
Right.
50s.
I just want to make sure
what are
I'm
you
not
talking about? I don't want to be in a well-lit room wandering
there's
around
nothing
nude.
worse than a well-lit room.
No,
it's
there
like
really
it's
isn't.
like, oh, honey, like with my toe, I'm like reaching over to like the light dimmer. Like,
We were also saying that playing music while lovemaking is a very dangerous game.
It is.
Yeah,
The
very
most
dangerous. Yeah.
Especially if it's on shuffle. You don't know what song's coming up next.
Oh no, we were more thinking of just like
More than
song
one
length,
song.
like because you can get in trance. It can feel like 25 minutes, but if you barely get to the bridge, it's a problem.
I find the bridge is the perfect time for I'm sorry.
You mentioned Stugotz is late arriving here, and I was thinking of him because you guys
I just make love to Blur Song 2 the entire time. Just 90 seconds. By the time you've heard it a seventh time, you think your boy's a stud.
Chelsea Dagger by the Fratellis.
Stugotz just last week came up to me and said, Dan, I mean, he's been touring with the Dead for years, and we all know he comes back polluted and rotten, contaminated, just ruined. And he's too old to be doing this at this age. It's just the flights. Never mind whatever the hell else he's doing. But he's like, Dan, the music, the mood, it reaches me. It feels good. I'm like, that's the drugs. The only way that music reaches him, the way that you're talking about, I want you to now imagine Stugotz into a well-lit room to the Barry White, to the Barry White on a Sunday night.
No, thank you.
Smelling like cigarettes.
I'm not a big jam band guy. I don't mean to disrespect Grateful Dead if Grateful Dead fans take exception to that term, but I just don't get that kind of music. I've tried several times, but I've seen videos of people dancing at these shows, and I'm using air quotes when I'm saying dancing.
Swaying.
They look so baked. They're just like in an off balance sway a little bit, and it just doesn't seem like something I would personally enjoy.
Again, that's the drugs. The drugs are what move him, but you guys are talking about music being a mood setter, and this brings up the perfect wheelhouse for one Greg Cote on a Greg Cote Tuesday. Take us through the tapestry that is you making your way into a well-lit room nude. What music is Greg Cote going to swoon, to make his wife swoon?
Right. Well, if I'm being perfectly honest, we begin the process with the Greg Cote Show podcast theme song. That's the way it starts. And from there, we go into Inagata Davida by Iron Butterfly, and eventually we get to the mellow stuff. But I don't do it in the daylight. I'm sorry. I invented the phrase nocturnal meandering for a reason. There isn't a human being alive who looks better nude than with clothes on. And I'm talking about bodybuilders.
No, that's not true at all.
Nobody looks better nude.
That's not true at all.
Name that
Just
person.
not true.
That's just simply
Name a
not
person.
true.
A lot of people.
Cliff Kingsbury.
Name one.
Fit, beautiful people all look better nude than they do clothed.
No, they don't.
Well, a lot of these people, in his defense, we haven't seen fully nude.
Thank you. I mean, somebody, Cliff Kingsbury, whatever his name is, who's seen him nude? I haven't.
I have not seen his penis.
But the
All
rest
right.
of it,
But don't count me out.
Those are racy photos. Those are steamy photos from
Still early in the game.
Summer. Not
Basically just saying that there are no aesthetically pleasing penis and testicles.
Well-
Essentially is what you're
well,
saying.
he wasn't even. He was just saying genitalia because he wasn't even making it just men. He was making it all people look
All
worse
people.
nude, and
Yes.
he is not right about this.
Okay. I want names.
I mean, all beautiful people, Greg. Beautiful
You
people.
haven't
that
given
are
me a name.
Remarkably fit because
Name one.
We just did.
I'm not giving you my search history.
We said Cliff Kingsbury, and your
This
response
is a
was
trap.
Kingsbury.
whatever his name is.
Do it on the field.
Not saying it. There's some people that I've only seen naked.
There are locally a couple of juicy, old-timey sports radio summer conversations.
Oh, boy.
Tyreek Hill in Madden, third highest receiver rating. The Dolphins haven't had that since.
Brandon Marshall?
No, before that, he didn't go that high. He did not. When you're talking about, so Trent Williams gets a 99 on the video game, and these guys argue about whether the numbers are accurate or not on these video games. They're now taking more metrics into account than they ever have to give these guys ratings.
I think that's probably the highest rated Dolphins receiver ever in a video game.
Not just receiver. I'm player. I was asking you player.
Taylor might have had a
Cameron Wake.
Or Ricky.
I'm guessing that probably hasn't happened since Ricky Williams. That the Dolphins have a star. He has brought. It is remarkable to see as he starts his podcast and tries to break free from under Kansas City's system. Just wants to be a star. Is coming to Miami to be a star and comes with all these expectations that are born of his speed. The Dolphins haven't been a top 10 offense since 1995.
Yep.
They are expected to be exciting. He brings that. That's him. And it's him alone. It's not him and the coach. It's not him and Tua. It's not him and Waddle. He brings that. Stardom. He did not have it. He hasn't played a game. He is a bigger star now than he was by virtue of being traded and now being the centerpiece of this team. But now come the expectations with all of that.
Looks like Xavier Howard was a 96 in a previous edition.
Their secondary is also elite. It's not just the corners.
Yeah, the criticism might be the pass rush is perhaps ordinary, but you can't do everything right. The interesting thing about Tyreek Hill getting that rating on Madden is that PFF, which is a pretty respectable website, listed the top 10 receivers, and he was number 10. He barely made their top 10. And I think part of that is being dragged down by who the quarterback is now compared to who it used to be for him.
A 97 on the opening edition of Madden 22 for Xavier Howard.
To me, this Tyreek Hill has already been a win for the Dolphins because of how much NFL Network is talking about the Dolphins. You cannot go an hour now without seeing them just pop up as a topic. And the Dolphins were, as you've said for years, Dan, they're just so uninteresting. We were never a talking point on NFL Network. And now every day, every hour almost, like I'll track it today. You see the Dolphins as like, what will Tua do? It's just a topic. It's a stupid July topic, but they're a team that people are interested in at
Mike,
least.
you lived here with the Browns. This is what has just happened is a starved fan base that, God almighty, look at what is happening in Buffalo. We will erect monuments to one of these teams mattering in this era in football in our city. And it's been 25 goddamn years around here.
I will say it's slightly different than the Browns hype because they kind of leaned into it. Dolphins are a little bit more reserved. And at the time, there were fewer questions about Baker Mayfield than there are now. He was coming off of that rookie season, and everyone thought that Baker Mayfield was going to be in that elite class of quarterbacks. There's far more questions about the quarterback. Thus, why you see every conversation about them in the national spotlight being about what do you expect from Tua this season? There's still question marks around that position.
You know how,
not for me, though. I love him like a son.
You know how baseball around here, I don't think we are emblematic of the country because the All-Star game in Los Angeles, baseball matters. They fill that stadium for an All-Star game and a home run derby. It matters there. They bought in huge, the Dodgers did, with giant money. Cable television, they brought in Magic Johnson. They made, in 2020, the Dodgers matter in Los Angeles the way they did in the 1980s when baseball was king. Football here used to be the biggest thing. This football team has killed that over 20 years. And much the way your baseball fandom has died, I'm not interested in Dolphin Sundays. I have not been for 20 years. I force myself to watch it. It's vegetables. They're playing they're a less interesting regional team than everything I'm seeing, like crack cocaine on Sundays. And now the promise of that changes. And a game hasn't been played. It's just one dude. There's change all over, but it's one dude. It's because, and he wanted to be a star and wasn't quite one and hasn't played a game and comes here and now he's a star because with speed, he did it all with speed. He has made the Dolphins matter. Him and him alone. Like you could talk yourself into anything, but you're adding him, and the sprinkle of him, the sprinkle of excitement, of possibility, makes them more interesting than they were.
Certainly, via the national scope, I agree with you. Tyreek Hill immediately made this team a national sports topic, as we've seen in the cable TV coverage. For me personally, it was the coach that got me excited about watching Dolphins games, just because I love watching that offense operate.
But without Tyreek Hill, I feel like it was both of them. It was like we got Tyreek Hill and we got a good offense. It's like those things combined are like, oh my God, we might have something here. If we just had the offensive coach, it'd be like, all right, we've had this before.
Right. The powers combined is something to behold, because I would have been excited about the offense regardless entering this season. I would have thought Waddle would have had himself in elite season. Hell, the coach told us as much.
What's interesting to me is that Tyreek Hill now has in his grasp a whole new level of stardom, because he will have turned Tua into a star if Tua becomes a star. It won't be – Tua's going to get some credit, of course, but it's going to be, look what Tyreek Hill did to Tua. He transformed this, is he a starting quarterback, is he elite, into look what happened. Tyreek's going to get a bare share of that credit if Tua turns that corner.
I know Mahomes got a lot of the credit there, but Dan said that Tyreek Hill wasn't really quite a star. Is that just Dan not playing fantasy football? I feel like Tyreek Hill is like one of the first 20 names that comes to mind when you ask like fantasy football players. Certainly it's sooner than that.
In terms of fantasy points, I agree with you, but Patrick Mahomes is the star of that team, overshadowing everyone. Including Andy Reid, including Tyreek Hill, including Travis Kelce. It's Mahomes' team. Here, it has a very good chance to be Tyreek Hill's team if it isn't already.
Let me push back, though, on Mike's idea for what stardom is, or measuring it by fantasy points. I am sure that everyone playing fantasy thinks Tyreek Hill is a star because you might have 180 yards at the end of the first quarter and 2 touchdowns. I'm not talking about that as stardom. I'm talking about 20 guys in that league, and I did not think that he was one of them. 20 guys in that league where they walk into anywhere and you know who they are. They walk into their city and you know who they are. Miami, man, I began to tell you guys this story the other day, and you cut me off. I was saying somebody was walking through an office in Miami of young people showing Jason Taylor in a uniform, number 99, without his helmet on, and asking people who identified as sports fans, do you know who this is? And the answer by half the room or more than half the room was, I do not. This team hasn't had stardom. It hasn't had, never mind fantasy, it hasn't had that either. Hasn't had somebody who can actually be a star in fantasy, but hasn't had somebody who brings, because of speed, it's not electric personality, it's not the podcast, the excitement of speed, the entrancing thing that it does to sports fans to see someone in that sport, which you know is bigger, stronger, faster, toughest, be faster than everyone else. The hope of that possibility is what he brings with him, and that expectation, and his stardom increases. Whatever it was, whether he was in Kansas City or not, it now increases. And he hasn't played.
He's a game breaker. For me, he's been appointment television for the last few years, just because you can pitch it to him in the backfield and he might house it. Same thing goes for Deebo Samuel. Same thing goes for Percy Harvin when he had it cooking. There are just these guys that set themselves apart in a league full of absolute monsters athletically. They are game breakers.
Right.
There's nothing that can be done if they get in the open field. Devin Hester had this, where you would want to watch every single punt because he would out-athlete the best athletes in the world.
The thing I'm talking to you guys, though, about is Tyreek Hill has a chance to take over this city the way that Dwayne Wade did, if he meets the expectations.
Yes.
Given his style, given he came here to play fast, to live fast, he's doing brand work right now, interviewing Rick Ross. He wants something in arriving here that he has not had, that he was not able to have in Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he wasn't able to have it in Kansas City. I imagine they limited his media availability because of stuff that happened off the field. It's the shadow of
the quarterback, too. Tyreek Hill can be viewed as somebody who was made by this quarterback as opposed to what he's coming here to do now, which is prop up this quarterback.
Won't that happen here, though? Let's say he has a monster year. That would mean Tua probably had a good year. So Tua might then get, oh, wow, Tua's like, I agree, it'll be a joint thing, but Tua's going to come along for that ride if Tyreek is as good as we think.
There's also an extreme contrast between playing in the heart of the Midwest and coming to where you get all the perfume of South Beach and everything that Miami is. and he wants that.
I mean,
And
Aaron Rodgers is pretty big in Green Bay. Is that the case in
Well,
football?
yeah,
Like where you are?
I think it still matters. I
Man,
do.
but this football town is a joke to an entire generation of people. You say it matters. This is dump. It's a laughing stock. 20 years of laughter. That place loses. My entire lifetime as a sports fan, a 25-year-old can say.
Right.
My 30-year-old can say. The Dolphins have not mattered.
Let's be honest. The Miami Heat took over this town for a few years because LeBron James came, but it was ripe for the taking. If the Dolphins 10 years ago were making the playoffs every year, it would not have been the Heat taking over this town like they did for a bit. It was ripe for change because the Dolphins were so bad for so long and so uninteresting for so long.
It should be noted that Tyreek Hill had a 1,000-yard receiving season before Patrick Mahomes became the starter. Patrick Mahomes went into a very good situation.
Yep.
Everybody was pointing to the weapons that he had.
One of the things that we overlooked yesterday that many people were calling us out about when we did our Chiefs analysis was that none of us mentioned yesterday that in doing the analysis of the Kansas City receiving core without Tyreek Hill, that Juju Smith-Schuster is somebody who was playing in an offense, as you mentioned, 8.9 yards per carry. That's a bomb in the last 3 Ben Roethlisberger years. 8.9 yards is them throwing deep downfield with Ben Roethlisberger.
No, I'm not here for the Juju Smith-Schuster stands. He's your slot receiver. If you want to tell me about Hardman, even though we've seen how that goes and he's super inconsistent, if you want to talk to me about Valdes-Scantling, fine. I know what Juju Smith-Schuster is. Stop it.
I just mentioned it only because we were so confident about knowing what the Chiefs are going to be without Tyreek Hill. I was not. I don't know what they're going to be without Tyreek Hill. I don't know whether I can slot in a Juju Smith-Schuster in there and get somebody I haven't seen. But I thought when Sammy Watkins went there that he would be somebody who was changing games, and Sammy Watkins didn't do very much there.
I will say that Patrick Mahomes can obviously fix him. he can work with Juju Smith-Schuster, who I think has the best days behind him. For me personally, I have more questions about whether Juju Smith-Schuster makes the team than whether or not he actually puts up a good season. He's got a 1-year bargain basement deal for the position that he plays. He needs to prove it.
Yeah, he fell off pretty quickly. Like 5 years ago, he was seen as elite, and now he's hanging on.
The other sports topic locally that is ripe for some good stuff is that last night I tuned in, tried to get it at 10 o'clock. How much Jeter am I going to get? And it was still Pete Alonso meditating, and that home run derby was going way long. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to watch Jeter then. You want me to watch The Last Dance baseball style? That's it. I'm out. I can't keep. And I like home runs, but I'm like, I'm not going to keep watching this to get to Jeter so that I can then have Jeter do this, because I saw this Time Magazine interview. And I don't know, maybe this thing will be great. But this Time Magazine interview that he did, where he's asked about Alex Rodriguez, because it's one of the controversial things he's going to tackle, gift basket. He's been interviewed for 30 hours. Should Alex be in the Hall of Fame? It's a good question.
Stealing my question.
It's a good question to ask Jeter. Should Alex be in the Hall of Fame? The answer, I don't vote. I don't vote, so think it's time will tell.
Good stuff.
Sounds like Jeter.
Yeah, sure does.
Yeah.
Part of the teaser for the captain is I wasn't going to give you the headline. Like that's part of the like they cover his unique ability to not say anything as if it were this kind of artful, thought out plan, which it might have been.
As if it were competition as well. It was I'm gonna battle with the New York Post. I'm not gonna tell him something they'll put on the back cover.
I'm gonna boring you to death.
Yes.
That's what the Dolphins have been doing for 20 years. I'm gonna bore you. Listen, I mean, it's a good. I would really like Jeter's honest answer to that.
I think he kind of did.
Yeah.
I think he kind of did give you honesty right there. Because he didn't say yes.
I don't vote. He's answering a different question.
I don't vote. Bullshit.
Time
Seriously.
will tell. Time will tell.
Come on, Captain.
He's not wrong.
Time will tell.
What about voting?
Time will tell about almost everything.
That's right.
Except Brady.
Did anyone stick around for the Jeter thing? Did anyone watch any of it?
No.
'Cause I did. I watched like the first half hour of it.
I did too. Yeah.
Didn't really grab me.
No.
It grabbed me. I wanted to hate it because to me it's just another of these 8-part series about the superstar and is it going to be real? Is it going to be an infomercial? But I thought the first half hour was good. I had never seen his parents interviewed. I found that interesting. It began in a way that was a little different to me.
It was. It couldn't have started more. It was just like he grew up. He's 2 years old. Like it was. It was his parents. Like,
I found it interesting.
Okay.
I
But
dozed-
they literally could have put anything in front of you there. I think. Like,
I dozed off and I woke up with the opening being like the Vietnam War, and I thought I slept through my Pearl Harbor Netflix special again. But I guess they're using that to frame it around his parents. I fell asleep because the home run derby is an abomination.
Oh my God! Don't get me started on that.
I will get you started. Now, I understand for the fans in attendance, this new format may be awesome because you get to see more home runs. But for television, horribly produced. Terrible. I didn't see any of the balls actually land, but while the ball's in the air, you got Schwarber already hitting another one. They can't track anything. What am I looking at?
there's like a delay. Like it's like Ravi's reacting to a ball. Like he's already on the next ball, and Ravi's like, "That one's gone." It's like, wait, the one he just hit or the one that's already still in the air? The key is these pitchers are not waiting. The umpires say like, wait till the next, and they don't. They just keep
Keep
like
going.
Pitching machine
Because it's a volume game right now. and
Julio
you're trying
Rodriguez's pitcher was a machine. That dude didn't even move his
The dude
body.
from the Righteous
his arm was
Gemstones?
just moving. The guy was just his arm was just moving in a circle.
He just had a cesta for a right arm. It was a pitching machine.
It was a dude in the underwear from Righteous
And some-
Gemstones. That
and
was his
some-
pitcher.
And some other guys have like their dads out there who like are grabbing 3 balls at a time, come set, wind up at like it's like, dude, if you got to get a pit in this day and age, you got to get a pitcher that's fiending these things out.
It's so confusing that they miscounted. You had a manufactured Pujols moment. He should have been eliminated. Schwarber hit one more home run than they actually gave him. If I sound mad, it's because I am. It's because he was
gambling
playing.
again.
I'm gambling again.
Yes.
He was 3-1 to beat Pujols in that first round. I mean, well, he was minus 300. He was 3-1 to win the
Right.
entire thing. This had real life repercussions.
It was. They
And
missed.
some of us aren't in legal states, and we don't have, the convenient partner such as DraftKings. I've seen this. Sometimes if there's a questionable thing, they'll refund money, which I love. It's a great evolution. But some of us are doing it in the back alley somewhere, and our bookies aren't as kind.
I miss those days. You have to let Albert win that, right? You have to once he wins a round, you have to let Albert. No,
But I'm telling you, after the first round, Albert didn't want to win anymore. That's
Right.
exhausting.
He was
This
tired.
new way, you got to
Yes.
take like
Yeah, he was.
60 swings in 3 minutes.
he's old.
What was wrong with 10 outs? What was wrong with 10 outs?
You love a good taking of the pitch after
Take
you
a
swing
pitch.
one.
Let it breathe. I want to see the crowd go nuts. I'm not seeing the crowd go nuts. I'm not actually. We're doing it to watch more home runs. We're not seeing the home runs in one single shot.
I've got a couple of questions. One, was it lighting? Was it just the Los Angeles lighting? Because I was losing the ball in the light. But I also, and you can't ignore this as the shift and everything distorts baseball, I think Pete Alonso made more money in home run derby money than he did in salary from the Mets.
Yeah. Rodriguez would have won $1 million had he won. It was Soto that won. He makes $777,000.
Well, he's a rookie. I think Alonso's making
No,
more than
but
that.
I read some stats, something like that the home run derby, however it is that it worked out for Alonso and stardom and marketing and stuff, it ends up making him more money than playing baseball for the Mets and being good on a rookie contract. And of course, if that's what the stakes are going to be, then everyone's going to get more efficient and somebody's going to hire a robot pitching coach and they're going to throw 100 pitches and everything's going to speed up there in the fight for money too.
Well, Pete Alonso, that explains a lot because he did look like $1 million was on the line. That dude was a psychopath.
Well,
what is he doing deadlifting before a home run derby?
And meditating.
What's that guy's problem?
What do they call it? Like waking up the thighs or something? They showed him doing
Activating the
squat.
glutes?
Activating them.
Yes.
He's
Yeah.
activating
Mike,
those
he's won it
thighs.
2 years in a row. He kind of knows what he's doing.
No, I know,
mean,
but did you watch the broadcast?
No.
He looked like a maniac.
Yes, there were cameras very close to his face as he meditated. He was playing as if it was more important than any Mets games he's played
It's
this
get
season.
over yourself.
correct.
It's a little get over yourself.
Yeah.
And to your point, Dan, this year he's making $7 million. So the $1 million prize is still big, but the last 2 seasons where he won, he was making under $1 million. So the last 2 years, he did make more from winning that than his full year salary.
What a bargain. The guy's got like 77 RBIs at the break, making $7.4 million a year.
You would, if you watch this, you would have told him to get over yourself. It was so melodramatic.
Yeah,
it was like
alone.
Hector of Troy going out before he's fighting Achilles. It's insane. Like
Very,
he looked like
look at me, Louie, putting on Twitter the deadlifting before, like during the home run derby. It was absurd.
Yeah, ridiculous. Hey, I'm the polar bear. Look at me. How about that?
Weightlifting during a baseball competition? Like you're going to exert yourself even more? Come on.
I relate to that hairline, though.
I'm not a physical specimen by any stretch of the imagination. I came out against running yesterday on the show.
Well, our sports show came out against running and cycling yesterday.
Yeah, both archaic practices. But I'm not the smartest guy when it comes to physical fitness, but I don't think you should be deadlifting before a home run derby. You shouldn't be exerting yourself.
He was treating it as if it was the fight of his life, and it was the last couple of years. Pete Alonso, man, you know how hard. I'm guessing it's been hard, given inflation, to live at Pete Alonso's salary in New York.
It was too much when he started wrapping his hands like a pugilist.
That's right. Guy can't even afford a tank of gas.
I
Not that
think
anybody
Pete
drives.
Alonso,
Check to check,
he
I
was
mean.
he was roughing it in New York the last couple. I don't know what kind of responsibilities he's got back home. I don't know what the family needs from him. But that's Pete Alonso. And furthermore, he plays in New York. And tell me all the times, America, listening to this, that you heard Pete Alonso's name if you're not a baseball fan, other than, oh, that dude's become more of a star the last couple of years. Because even as he hits 40 home runs a season and is rookie of the year good, he wins the home run derby, and everybody's watching on that night, or a whole lot of people are watching ridiculously on that night. He's a bigger star for the home run derby and for being the favorite at that thing than he is as a player, and he's been a damn good player, correct?
They're trying to draw you in with these moments. They were treating Pujols. He kind of got a pseudo Ted Williams type treatment. But then I realized all the players that he's meeting at home plate. I'm like, okay, there's Machado, there's Soto, and I don't know anybody else. This is not really landing the way I like it that he's a Cardinal. That was cool to learn. But I'll be there for the Miggy Cabrera stuff. I'm really watching because there's nothing else going on.
Oh, but this is your fault because you haven't been paying attention for the last 12 to 15 years, correct? Like you haven't.
Garrett Cooper is an all-star. I've heard you guys complain about Garrett Cooper for the last
he's
3
been good
seasons.
this year. He's been their best offensive player.
Clearly he's an all-star.
But
Injury
he's been,
sub.
But he hasn't been this the last 3 years. He's just been another guy in the uniform. He was,
He still is.
He was Aguilar. Well, you say he still is, but he's having a legitimate all-star season. One of the few guys in the league hitting over 300. They have 3 all-stars, which leads me to the single best of the July stupid sports radio topics, which is give me all your outrage because it's Kershaw opening instead of Sandy in the All-Star game when Sandy, the Marlins pitcher, has been better than Kershaw this year by every available metric. But the Dodger manager, they're playing in Los Angeles.
It's a feel-good moment. That's what baseball does.
They're playing in Los Angeles, and Kershaw is a star, and Sandy is not a star. Sandy is a local pitcher who happened to make an All-Star game, and people are mad. People in Miami think of it as a disrespect, a great disrespect that to the Marlins, that Sandy has been empirically better but doesn't get what can be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, which is starting the All-Star game.
I think if look, Kershaw's
you seem exasperated. You seem
What happened?
You took a deep breath as if somebody had punched you in the stomach, and you were very frustrated.
Okay,
You had a lot to say.
I'm still frustrated by the home run derby. Let me just get that off my chest real quick, because why are we paying attention to the home run derby and watching it and treating it as if it's a real event? Nobody's hitting home runs. This is keg softball. This is T-ball. The pitches are coming 30 miles an hour. I could hit a home run off these 30 miles. Yeah, I could.
No, you could
30
not.
mile an
30
hour
miles,
pitches.
wow.
It's
You
ridiculous.
cannot. You can.
They're
Greg,
softballs.
Greg,
Dad, your
let's-
home run fence could be the infield dirt.
You know
and
what
you
this
would
is?
get less home
What are
runs
you
than Julio
I
talking
Rodriguez.
about?
disagree.
Okay.
I think he can get a
No.
couple
Thank you.
past the infield.
No, I'm saying, like, if
Get
we
outta
put a
here.
fence on the outside of the infield dirt, he would get like 5 home runs.
We have to do this.
Here's what the home run derby is. You know what the home run derby is? The home run derby would be like having a putting contest with a bunch of professional golfers, but the hole is 5 feet wide. That's what the home run derby
You
is.
think you can hit a home run out of any major league ballpark?
Dad, stop. Come
Yeah,
on.
I
Dad.
do. If you pitch 30 miles an hour to
Dad,
me
you realize the
and
fast-
give me
Are you
50
joking?
swings.
Dad, it's easier when the ball's going harder.
Not in my opinion.
Okay.
Wow.
He's been covering sports for 40 years.
Right.
Did a deadline column off the Marlins this week.
Dad, these things were
Yes,
cute like
correct.
10 years ago. These things were cute. But like now it's like you're just being
You're,
dumb.
hey, I just mentioned it in passing. You're the ones
Right.
you were harping on it.
But you
There was a shred of doubt before.
You
Now you
said it.
can't walk up a flight of stairs without
You know,
laboring.
actually, I was brushing my teeth this morning. I got a little winded,
Yeah.
Wow.
but
It happens. Yeah.
it does happen.
Yeah,
it really does.
Two guys
weird.
this
Yeah.
week knocked out by scope.
Right.
That's right.
Two guys this week knocked out by toothbrush.
Got my toothpaste back, though.
Here's the
Feeling
thing.
good.
Here's the thing about the starting pitcher choice.
I'm laughing at
Biotine.
at the disgust on Whittingham's face. You couldn't even conceal it, Whittingham. You're staring at him.
Not nice to do to Greg. I got to be honest with you.
You were staring at Stugotz, and your disgust
Shaved.
it leaked out behind a forced smile. You did shave today.
Your skin's looking decent.
Thank
but,
you.
I mean, I got the right toothpaste this morning. So
Biotine,
my
yep.
voice doesn't sound like deaf.
Sales, get on it.
Congratulations.
Yep. I'm telling you. No scope.
Continue, Greg.
Sorry.
I want to get to the rest of your point. I just can't believe that you're entrenched on you think you would. You would not hit a ball 200 feet in the air. Not 200 feet in the air.
This is maybe hyperbole for the sake of making my point, which is that if you lob a 30-mile-an-hour fastball to a major leaguer, of course they're going to hit a home run. The worst major leaguer in baseball is going to hit 10 or 12 home runs under that format, being pitched that
So they
way.
should be throwing curveballs?
No.
Like, what's your solution here?
It's a fake event. It's like not even real.
Dad, you had a Shoeneral.
Okay. Those were my deck shoes of long standing. They
Real
meant
event,
something to
though.
me.
Real shoes.
Okay,
Right,
all
exactly.
right.
No. I
Okay.
am with you, Greg. What's wrong with that?
He got me on that one.
No, what this requires for somebody just tuning in, okay, that doesn't understand how funny the line is. Dad, you just had a Shoeneral on the latest Greg Cote podcast featuring Greg Cote.
With
It's a fine.
He does play-by-play, and there is accompanying video of him finally in the backyard, I think burying or starting to bury or showing you that he's never held a shovel before. And then
3
a
attempts
lie.
at digging.
again would hit a home run in a major league park.
right, with a shovel.
Couldn't get a shovel into grass.
I sure could, but I was barefoot. You know, the shovel requires a shod foot, and I had, out of respect for my shoes that I was bearing, I was barefoot. So it was all arms.
That was a poor decision there, Greg.
It really was, Roy.
Dad,
Thank
you had a Shoeneral. Greg Cote being out here saying don't have televised sports events on slow times that are just parties after having a Shoeneral. And lamenting the idea that
fake event.
sports would be
Was a big
fake
event.
events.
Yeah.
Like that.
It was a big event in my family.
In Greg's defense, no one is out here saying that the Shoeneral is a major athletic pursuit that we have to read into.
Thank
Whereas
you.
there's supposed to be, Juan Soto, what a hero for winning this home run
Right.
derby. He's the best in Major League Baseball at hitting home runs.
I mean,
It's a faux construct.
how about this, Juan Soto? You're hitting 250. How about you accept a
Oh, for the
$440
love.
million contract?
Okay. Gee, can you get me the He's
Unbelievable.
That Guy, please, at
It's 15
LeBatard
years,
Show?
though,
It's
I mean.
Greg Cote.
250 hitter.
I do want to, you are the best.
Dad, have you ever watched Juan Soto hit in a major league game?
I have. He's a
like
home run
really
hitter.
good.
Yeah, he's really good.
You just came with the most cliched take of guy hit better than 250, guy don't reject
Right.
$440 million. Your
Right.
other take then, you said you had a two-pronged take, show's moving a little fast for you, so you wanted to go back to your home run derby take.
No, well, I got that off my chest. I wanted to mention that there's no controversy in the L.A. manager in L.A. picking his future Hall of Fame pitcher to start the game. I think it's a career honor for an event that has those. That's why Pujols and Miguel Cabrera are playing in the game. You know, it's because it's an all-star game. This is what you do. Kershaw has earned that start through a career's work. Sandy Alcantara is making his second all-star appearance. He's just getting started.
Greg Cote, a non-homer
Well
take.
done.
He's going to have his time. Right now,
Well
it's Kershaw's
Showing
time.
some range. Look at you.
It's a baseball moment.
Was
That's
it indeed a Dave Roberts decision? Dave Roberts.
It's the obvious decision.
Well, but but I'm asking you. It's the obvious decision if you're the manager of the Dodgers. I just don't know who the manager of the All-Star game is. I didn't think it was Roberts.
No, it's the Braves manager.
Snedeker.
Braves won the World
My dad
Series
doing
last
a
season.
whole thing.
No, but I got caught
no
down
one
that
can
path.
name the Braves manager.
I'm taking my clap back.
Someone name him.
Damn it, the clip on social's killed now.
But still, the homer take would be to say Sandy should start. Still a good take. For
You
want to
do it again? You want to try it again without? You want to eliminate the manager this time because it wasn't Dave Roberts that made that decision.
Just fix that in editing.
No, that's okay.
All right,
But it was the Braves manager who they're inside the same division, all that. So maybe you want to change your take a bit.
I can see Kershaw being named the starter. That's all.
Great
job.
job.
About to start a Marlin pitcher.
That's a classy move by Bobby Cox.
No one can name him.
Bobby Cox. What is the manager? Brian Snitker?
Wasn't the inability.
You named him.
Thank you. Snitnit.
Snitty.
The issue wasn't the inability to name the manager of the champion Braves. That the show shouldn't quite take such pride in that ignorance.
I mean, you're being too hard on me. I didn't know that the Braves won the World Series.
I didn't know that Dave Roberts didn't have the best record and wasn't the manager of the All-Star team. I went down that path and corrected myself, and I don't know if this is what happened to Greg or not, because I started to say manager and ejected halfway through the word because I couldn't remember whether Dave Roberts was the one choosing Kershaw or not. That becomes a no-brainer. If it's your guy, if you're the Dodger manager, you make Clayton Kershaw the pitcher. This is the Atlanta Braves. I'm sure Billy would be mad right now. Billy is the only one who actually cares about the Marlins.
So
around
mad
here.
He's not here. I mean, seriously.
A little insulting.
I would think that Marlins fans, even on short rest, because Sandy's on short rest, to me, that I wouldn't want him necessarily to start, but I don't know how much they're going to use him. Regardless, I think people who care about the Marlins do see this as an insult because you've cared about the team for 20 years when no one else cares about the team. You're a diehard. You've got a legitimate ace. You want to showcase him to the country, and he is, on merit, better than the other guy this year, period. On the stats from this year, he's better than Kershaw. Has pitched more and has been more dominant. And Kershaw's had 2 7+ perfect inning games, but he's been better.
It's Major League Baseball. They live for these moments. Dan, I'm telling you, if Don Mattingly was the manager of the NL All-Star team, he would put Clayton Kershaw out as his starter. He would. Because that's what you did.
I'm agreeing with you, but where the Marlin fan feels persecuted, because who's more alone in sports than the Marlins fan? Stugotz?
Nobody.
Okay, and the Marlins fan doesn't like the Braves.
Right.
Doesn't like. Everything that's happening with the Braves is them trampling the Marlins. And now, I've thrown you a cliche sports radio topic.
Yes.
The rival manager has said your ace isn't good enough to give baseball its moment. Only Marlins fans are pissed off about that, and they are so few in number. But they are unholy pissed at the disrespect in it, because it isn't about merit, it's about storytelling.
I think you said it right the first time when you said Marlin fan.
I don't think it's disrespect. I really don't. The whole event is ceremonial. Kershaw's the Hall of Famer. Sandy is just getting started. Yeah. I just don't see the real outrage here. I don't.
Especially when Clayton Kershaw has spent the last 5 seasons sort of signaling a decline. This has been, this statistical season is his best in 6 years. And so you have the biggest star pitcher in baseball with a chance to start the MLB All-Star game at home. It makes sense. But if this is meant to be, like, starting the All-Star game is something where in years to come, you'll be like, Sandy Alcantara started the All-Star game. That's a big deal for his career CV, and to not have that because of storytelling is a bit ridiculous.
But you say that, and I call myself a baseball fan. I can't think of who started the last 4 or 5.
Yeah,
baseball.
right.
That's a made up. That's a made up honor.
It's a straw man. I can't remember who has started Major League Baseball All-Star games of years past.
No, the starter's going to pitch 2 innings. Sandy
probably one actually
off the bench is going to pitch 2 innings. What difference does it make?
What did you make it a CV? What is a CV, Whittingham?
It's another version of your resume.
Oh, yeah. What?
I hate
like
you.
Curricula
CV?
Veritas or something like that.
You asshole.
Go to hell. Even you calling him an